Marion Carroll makes dinner for her husband, a simple task, but something truly miraculous for a woman who had multiple sclerosis for 17 years.
The last 3 years of my MS, I was bedridden really, or wheelchair. I had no power in my legs, I had no power in my right arm and hand, and I only had limited power in the left. I was completely blind in the right eye and very little sight in the left eye. My speech was badly affected. The muscles in my throat were affected. To eat, the food had to be cut up very small or liquidised.
I had to do everything. She was confined to bed. The last 3 years she was totally paralysed. She had no power. Any twisting or turning that she had to do, I had to give her a hand at it.
I was really just like a baby in a pram. I had to be washed, fed, changed and moved.
It was tough. All them years.
There was no cure. And I didn't ask for a cure because I wouldn't challenge him in that way. I knew he loved me. I mean, I had everything in life. I had a fantastic marriage and 2 wonderful children. There was people out there that were perfect in health, could run and walk what they want, but they were miserable and they were full of hate and jealousy. And so I had the real gifts in life.
The day Marion Carroll went to Knock in 1989, she and her family believed she was dying. She was brought into the basilica on a stretcher and placed right under the statue of Our Lady.
I received Holy Communion from my bishop. And after I received Holy Communion, I got a very bad pain in both of my heels, which is very unusual. But it was when my bishop came down with the Blessed Eucharist and the monstrance for the blessed of the sick, and he came in front of the stretcher and he held it up and he blessed me. It was at that time that I got this beautiful feeling, a magnificent feeling, and like a whispery breeze telling me that if the stretcher was open that I could get up and walk.
After the Mass, Marion asked a helper to open the stretcher.
But when she opened the stretcher, my 2 legs swung out and I stood up straight. I wasn't even a bit stiff after all them years. It was Sister Antonia noticed I was holding my head myself without the collar, that I was using my arms and hands, and that my speech was perfect. But when I stood up in Knock Shrine, it had nothing to do with walking or moving. Just right in front of me, I seen my own heart. And it was so full of joy and peace and a love there is no end to. It was like looking directly into the sun, and the rays of that came towards me. And I got all them gifts of that joy, that peace and that great love.
Back in Athlone, Marion had the great joy of breaking the news to Jimmy.
So I think around 4:30 or 5 o'clock that evening the ambulance came and they back into the drive, and there was a lady along with Jerry, and I think it was her name, and they opened the ambulance door and Marion, you know, with Jerry one side and the other side, came out of the back of the ambulance. And I couldn't, you know, like, it never dawned on me that she was, you know, in the upright position. She was walking, and I got the wheelchair and brought out. She sat in the wheelchair, and Jerry and Anne went off.
When we came in here to sitting round, Jimmy sat here over at the patio doors, and the wheelchair was in the centre of the room. And I stood up and said, "Look, Jim, I can walk." He said, "Oh God, Mary," said, don't. And I went over and I put my arms around him. I've never seen a man crying like him. And he got down on his knees and he started thanking the Lord.
It blew me away, you know. I just couldn't believe it, to see her standing there after such a long time. And, you know, for a long time after that we thought we were dreaming, imagining, you know, that this really happened.
I've never looked back physically or spiritually since that day. And I really had a great life planned for myself, but then the Lord decided different and he gave me my ministries. I have a ministry healing, but I cannot heal. No one can heal, only Jesus. He's the healer. That when I pray with them, I'm just giving out the prescription, but he's the doctor. My cure, my healing in Knock does not belong to me. This is a special gift to you and the people of the world to let you know that they are there. But life gets pretty hard at times, and we're so human at times, we actually need to feel, touch and see God's love. My sitting here talking to you is that gift now, to let you know that he is there.